Okay, I just passed emissions in this one, and I have to pass emissions in that one. I'm going to walk you through how I do it because for some reason, every year I have to do the same thing because that check engine light eventually comes back on. So I got this one started. I just plugged the battery back into it, so there's no check engine light right now. I had to use my connector from right here to move it to this one because I'm cheap and just didn't buy two. So there it goes right there. And with that, I should be able to get close enough to pass emissions. I got these instructions online to walk through the recycle on the emission tickers, just to make sure that, because once you unplug the battery, you have to go through all the drive cycles. So I found this online and printed it out, and we'll walk through how I did that. So I got this Bluetooth connector that is a ODB2 sensor, and it plugs in right there. So I get that plugged in like so, and then I find my phone. Alright, so I got the torque app up. The torque is going to connect to my ECU and pull up my current readiness status. You just go to add, you want to add a display, and the one you want is the drive cycle sense DVC clear. Alright, so I've already added it, so I don't need it. So right now these shows all of the cycles that aren't ready yet, the incompletes. In the state of Georgia, you're able to have one of these incomplete and still pass emissions. My check engine light generally comes on shortly after they're all completed, so I'm going to go and do my emissions with only one left incomplete, and that's how I passed in the black car. Alright, so the prereq says that make sure your accessories are off, cold start, let the vehicle idle for 5 minutes. I've been letting it do that while we had that, and I washed it because it was dusty. So step 2 is to rev engine in neutral for at 2500 RPM for 15 seconds. So each time I do something, it should check off one of those, sometimes two. So let's rev it at 25 RPM for 15 seconds. Alright, and then the next thing we want to do is to rev at about 4K for 15 seconds. I'll get a little louder. Alright, so that's done. Then the next thing we want to do is idle engine for 20 seconds with cooling fan stopped. Alright, so let's get as hot as we're going to let some of these windows down. Alright, and then we got on here, step 7 is to maintain steady 25 miles per hour for 50 seconds. Before that, accelerate 55 miles per hour and maintain in a high gear for 1.5 minutes, and then decelerate to 15 miles per hour. So steps 5 and 6 are kind of connected to one another because you decelerate from the acceleration. Step 7 is separate. So what I'm going to do is just roll around the neighborhood for about a minute at 25 miles per hour. Speed limit is 35, so it shouldn't be a big deal or disrupt anybody. So I'm going to go do that now. It is leaking inside because I did not dry my car off. It's raining. Oh, well, we just just gonna have to do what we can at 25 miles per hour. And yep, we're still going. Alright, so by driving at 25 miles per hour, we have checked the bottom O2 sensor. So now we need to move to the next step, which is to find a highway and get up to 52 miles per hour and sustain that for, it says, a minute and a half. So we'll check back in when we get to a highway. Alright, we have a highway to shift, attempt to get up to 55 miles per hour in a high gear. So that means that you're going to want to be in 6th if you got it, 5th if you don't. Once you get up to 55 and then count to 90. So let's get up to speed. 55 right there, right? So then we're going to get into high gear. That's 5th, that's 6th, and we're going to chill here for 90 seconds. 59, 80, 81, 82, 63. So that is the, oh man, that drop below. So that should more or less be the minute and a half at about 52 to 55. So from here, the next thing it'll want me to do is to drop down to 15 miles per hour and then drive for 13 minutes at a speed between 15 and 35 miles per hour. So I got a couple cars behind me, so let me navigate doing that. So currently I am driving between 15 and 35 miles per hour, trying to, and I'm still at the same level. And the thing that I noticed between the other car and this car is that the fuel loads is different. The other car was able to trigger the readiness a lot faster with low fuel, it seemed like, but this one has high fuel, almost full, so I'm a little worried about that. But I'm going to continue this for the recommended 10 more minutes I got about, and then see if that'll trigger these other two. When I slowed down from 55 to 20 the first time in the black car, it immediately triggered to the readiness sensor. So that let me know that there was a difference between that car and this car, but they did say on the website that, you know, mileage may vary. So finally, after going back and forth on the highway at 55 miles per hour in 4th, 5th, and 6th, 3 times, I got the ECR system checked. So I've got 3 more to go. By this time in the black car, all of them were already, the other 2 were already checked. So I'm not quite sure what's different in this one, but what I'm going to do are I kind of started with the car running. So I'm going to turn it off and then restart and let it idle. And then I'm going to cycle through some of the low speed items, and that should get me at least 2 more of these checked off. Alright, so I was just driving home at normal speeds, about 40 miles per hour, and the last 2 checked off for me. So I am heading to the emissions place right now to go ahead and pass my emissions. Alright, and right there we got the W. We got that pass. That's despite on the black car having 2 sensors or 2 fault codes. But as long as you're able to get into the emissions with just 1 tag left, then you are able to, I guess, bypass that or something like that. So I got both of them passed today. Happy about that. I'm pretty sure tomorrow when I start it up, the check engine light is going to come on, and I'll be in a state where I could not have passed emissions, but it doesn't matter because I was able to get past emissions today. If you have any comments or if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. But all in all, this is a way to there's videos out there saying, oh, you got to drive your car for 8 days in order to pass, in order to clear your checks and